Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Tarot Scopes again. We're going to be doing the Tarot Scopes for the sign of Gemini. That's Gemini Sun, Moon, or Rising for the month of June 2023. And before we get into the cards, we're going to look at a little astrology. Of course, June is one of the months that the sun is in Gemini. So we start the month with the sun in your sign, in your first house. And so you are shining bright. We also have the ruler of your chart, of your sign, Mercury, start the month in Taurus. It's just out of its shadow from its retrograde journey through Taurus. And so perhaps for the first time in a long time, Mercury has felt a little bit freed up, understanding what we've been through over the last 6 weeks or so, which were very intense, and not simply because Mercury was in Taurus, but because of other things that were happening. Of course, Mercury was all part of that as well. In the fixed signs, the grand fixed cross that is still in the sky as we start the month. Mercury is moving pretty quickly. It gets out of its shadow, and then on, I believe it's the 5th. Hold on, 3rd, 2nd. What day is it? On the 4th, actually. On the 4th, we have a conjunction between Mercury and its higher octave planet Uranus. This is happening in the sign of Taurus. So for you, Gemini, this is happening in your 12th house. So there's an illumination of sorts. You might actually get some sort of visionary dream, as it were, or if you are the type of Gemini that meditates or sort of trips the light fantastic, connecting to the other side, so to speak, information can come in suddenly and shift all kinds of things. But because it's in the 12th house, it may or may not come in on the conscious level. Once it makes a conjunction to Uranus, then it quickly moves into your sign of Gemini. And then so Mercury is moving through your first house, stimulating your ability to gather information perhaps, or to speak of what you're seeing or experiencing. And it actually moves through the sign of Gemini very quickly. Mercury does. And you are a Mercury ruled sign, and it's very happy, and Mercury's very happy in your sign. So there's a lot of information and conversation to be had, especially in the beginning. We do have Mercury move into Gemini on the 11th, and it's there until the 26th when it moves into Cancer. Once it moves into Cancer, things are a little quiet down a little bit for you as Cancer moves through that. The Mercury in Cancer moves through that second house. While it's in Gemini, it is pretty busy. It makes a square to Saturn, sextiles to Venus, and sextiles to Mars. Both Venus and Mars are for most of the month. Well, for all of the month, Mars is in Leo, and on the 4th or the 5th, on the 5th of June, Venus moves into Leo, where it stays for 4 months. Why is that? Because we have a Venus retrograde cycle coming up in Leo. In fact, Venus moves from 0 to 29 degrees of Leo before it turns around and goes all the way back to 13 degrees of Leo. So that was those degrees between 13 and 29 degrees of Leo Venus goes over those 3 times. 3 is a charm. It's moving forward, then it's reevaluation, and then it's moving forward again. And in Leo, for you, Gemini, this is happening in your house of the mind, your 3rd house. So there is, this is a time to make friends with your neighbors if you can, to resolve any issues you may have with your neighbors. It is close to home. The 3rd house is also the media, so we can get information from the media, and then they go back on it and they go forward. So as I've been suggesting to most people, listen with half an ear, and deal with the stuff that you have control over within your own life. That'll be the best way for you to utilize your prodigious brain, as it were. As I said, Venus is in Leo starting on the 5th and leaving October 8th. We do have a full moon starting the month on the 3rd. The full moon is in Sagittarius, which is your house of relationship. The sun, of course, in your first house. This is an awareness around you and thou, right? You and the other. We do have Saturn squaring the full moon within like 5 degrees of the sun and the moon. And so it's sort of halfway between. Saturn and Pisces is reminding us to practice forgiveness, to practice compassion, and have compassion, not just for others, but compassion for yourself as well. Saturn is stationing retrograde this month, so it is holding a lot of power as it sits there. It's going to station retrograde on the 11th. And for you, Gemini, let's see, that is your 10th house. Is it the 10th house? No, it's your 9th house. It's your 9th house. And the 9th house being long journeys, truth. We have a new moon in your sign, Gemini, at the end of the month. That's happening on the 18th, actually. New moon at 27 degrees of Gemini, right? Square Neptune, as I said. And so it's about new beginnings, but there is some confusion. There is some confusion coming from Neptune there in the 10th house. So it's like you're reinventing yourself, but you're not really sure how it's going to impact the world, so to speak. I wouldn't worry about it. Reinventing yourself is always a good idea. And if the world is smart, they'll follow you. Okay, let's see what else do I want to mention here. Pluto, oh, how can we forget Pluto? Pluto is in Aquarius starting the month, and it does retrograde back into Capricorn. That happened on the 11th. That is the same day that Mercury moves into your sign of Gemini. But Pluto moves back right before the Mercury moves into Gemini. But there is a trine that day between Mercury and Pluto. So there's a lot of power in that day as things shift and change. And it's actually probably been kind of nice to have Pluto in Aquarius as opposed to Pluto in Capricorn for you. We are going to have to go back to Capricorn and deal with some stuff that we still have some cleaning up to do, as it were, in Capricorn. But it will go back into Aquarius, then one more dip into Capricorn, and then move forward into Aquarius, where it stays for 20 years. So there's plenty of time with Pluto and Aquarius. So you may miss it now, but the future is definitely there for that. And hopefully the future is bright for all of us. Okay, so the sun moves into Cancer on the 21st. Mercury, your ruling planet, moves into Cancer on the 26th. Mercury is very busy this month, making connections, understanding what it is that we're up against, and then opening the lines of communication between people so that we can actually affect the future in a positive way. All right, that's what's going on with that. Now let's take a look at the cards, the card reading. I believe this is my Illuminati deck, if I remember correctly. And oops, there we go. Am I right? Is she right? She is right. All right, so let's see what's up for Gemini for the month of June. That Mercury retrograde last month was quite a Mercury retrograde. And especially for you, Gemini, because it was all happening in your 12th house. And we're not always sure what that means for us. We're not always even aware of what's going on, because it really is sort of a unconscious place, unless, of course, you're getting information in your dreams, which you may be doing. That is the place of dreams. Next month, the nodes will be shifting out of Taurus and Scorpio and into Aries and Libra. It's going to be, I think, a little bit easier for you in general. None of it's really easy, but there's easy, there's hard, and there's harder, right? So just be hard, maybe. Of course, the nodes of the moon are the direction of our evolution, and we evolve through our emotional bodies. So evolution, as I have often said, is not for sissies. And remember, you chose this time to be here, so let's enjoy it the best we can. All right, what are we starting with here? Ooh, we're starting with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups. She is the queen that sees things that other queens cannot see. She is at her best a good friend, tea and sympathy, somebody that can mother you and support you. Is this you, or is this somebody in your life? You can make the decision. What challenges that is the High Priestess. Oops. There are secrets that are being kept. Now, I'm not sure if they're being kept from you for a good reason or just being kept from you. You're not seeing everything at the moment. You're not seeing everything yet. Let's see what's underneath it all. The Four of Swords. This is a time of rest. If you're not resting, you need to rest. You need to rest. If you're struggling to understand things through your psychic senses and you feel blocked, it's because you're not rested. You need to rest. You need to recover from whatever just happened to you. Let's see what's in the past. Ooh, we have the Empress. This is a very powerful card of creative imagination. In the past, there could have been a woman. There's a lot of women here. In fact, the two most powerful women cards in the deck, the High Priestess and the Empress, are both in your reading. So this is an energy of connecting with the divine feminine within you, the divine feminine within you. The Empress is very fertile, and maybe you've had a fertile period. Maybe you're having a baby and you need to rest. Okay. In the sky, we have being at a crossroads, the Two of Swords. This again is a break in the action. The energy here is there's a break in the action. So not only is there a break in the action at the root of the reading, but also at the sky. And it is swords. And so you are an air sign. You need to calm your mind. You need to quiet the mind. There's something about that you need to quiet. Let's see, in the immediate future, we have the Five of Swords. So this is unfair, cruelty, and the like. This is out there, and I'm always, I don't like to say every time I do Gemini, but we have to remember that the ex-president is a Gemini, as is Xi Jinping is a Gemini, and Giuliani is a Gemini. So this could be about them, not necessarily about you per se, but it is saying that out there are people who are not well intended. And so maybe this is why the cards are saying rest, 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 stay put. Don't put yourself out there quite yet. You're very fertile right now. And so just step back from things. How you're seen by others. We have the King of Swords, somebody with good judgment, perhaps. Somebody who's in charge of their own life. Okay, this is about agency. It's about knowing your own mind. Your domestic situation, the Seven of Wands. There is some struggle in your domestic situation, but you do have the higher ground here. So if things come at you, you will be ready and prepared for them. It does take some courage, however. Hopes and fears, the Three of Pentacles. This is about working with others who are really good at what they do. Craftsmanship, sort of like the highest, almost an adeptship here, an adeptship. Perhaps you want to work with others who are good at what they're doing. That's a wish that you have. And the outcome is these Eight of Wands. There is all the information is coming down. There is no hiding from the information. And I'm talking about Trump. I'm talking about Giuliani. The information is coming fast and furious. And for you, the information is coming fast and furious through your intuitive facilities. This is a Sagittarius card, and we do have that full moon in Sagittarius. So I think you're going to get a lot of information through that full moon as it sort of lights up your access of yourself and others. You're going to learn about, you're going to know who's been not good. Who is it? What you don't know, you're going to find out, and you're going to find out who you can trust and who you can't trust. That's what that card means. All right, let's see if we can get a major arcana. We have the Ace of Wands, that's new beginnings. The Princess of Wands, this is the messenger from Spirit. And, ooh, the King of Pentacles. So there's a message from somebody who may be willing to help to fund a creative project of yours as we continue with this reading. But let's see what's underneath it. Heartbreak. So whoever you can trust is going to, I think, be a bit of a shock and maybe a challenge. But remember that a broken heart holds more love, and ultimately this is a card of freedom. You're freeing yourself from a situation that you maybe didn't even know was destructive. We have the King of Wands here underneath it all. That's the king who's in charge, who rules based on his beliefs and what's important to him. And we have your card here, the Lovers, making choices. So you'll have the information you need to make a better choice this time around. Wow. All right, guys. Well, so be careful, stay put, allow things to unfold. You will see who it was that you needed to be aware of or be careful of. Let it work its way out. Hold your ground, as it were. The information is coming out, and ultimately you're going to be helped by people who see that you are, in fact, somebody worth investing in. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe if you would. If you'd like a reading with me, you can contact me on my website. There are links below for that. I do astrology, Kabbalah, numerology readings. I have 2 readings. I do a 90-minute reading or a 60-minute reading. If it's your first reading, I suggest the 90 minutes because we go through it. We go over a lot of information. If you've had readings with me before, an hour is usually sufficient unless you want to, unless you have a lot of questions and you want to talk to me. I am going to be starting a beginner's astrology class in June, probably closer to the 3rd week of June. And I'm also starting the second half of my introduction to Kabbalah class for those students who have been waiting patiently for me to start. Thank you for your patience. And I will see you again. I will see you again definitely next month for the Taroscopes for July. And I'm on every day. I also do some shorts, even though, I'm trying with those, and some more long form morning astrology, walking through the garden kind of things. So if you want to check that out, most people really enjoy it. And this is the time to be in my garden because everything's in bloom now. And every day is a new day with a new piece of beauty showing its face. So I love to share that with you guys. And if you're interested, come along for the journey. Until next month, take care, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful month. Namaste.